Have you ever wondered if your name holds a secret meaning? What if the very first letter of your name could reveal hidden traits about your personality, strengths, and even your destiny? You might be surprised at what your initial says about you. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll see your name in a whole new way. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And what's the first letter of your name? I'd love to know. Also, make sure to subscribe and stay with me till the end, because if you skip, you might miss the one detail that could completely change how you see yourself. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. How the first letter shapes your personality. The first letter of your name carries more influence than you might think. In many cultures and belief systems, it's linked to personality traits, energy, and even destiny. For example, names starting with A are often associated with leadership and ambition, while S names tend to be creative and intuitive. Whether through psychology, numerology, or just the power of association, your initial can subtly shape how people perceive you, and even how you see yourself. The hidden meaning behind every first letter. A to Z breakdown. Every letter carries its own unique energy, shaping personality traits, strengths, and even challenges. Whether through cultural symbolism, numerology, or subconscious influence, the first letter of your name can say a lot about you. Let's go through the alphabet and uncover what your first initial reveals. A to G, the leaders and thinkers. A, bold, ambitious, and independent. People with A names are natural-born leaders who take charge and aren't afraid to take risks. B, gentle, nurturing, and emotional. The names often belong to caring individuals who value relationships and deep connections. Creative, charming, and expressive. If your name starts with C, you likely have a magnetic personality and love socializing. Determined, disciplined, and hardworking. D names belong to people who set goals and stop at nothing to achieve them. You energetic, adventurous, and free-spirited. If your name begins with E, you thrive on excitement and new experiences. Family-oriented, loyal, and compassionate. F names are often found in people who prioritize relationships and kindness. Intellectual, analytical, and wise. If your name starts with G, you likely have a deep mind and a love for learning. H to N, the dreamers and doers. Hardworking, practical, and responsible. H names belong to people who stay grounded and never shy away from effort. E, imaginative, intuitive, and artistic. If your name begins with I, you likely have a strong creative streak and deep emotions. J, charismatic, confident, and natural leaders. J names often belong to people who inspire others and take initiative. K, kind, strong-willed, and protective. If your name starts with K, you are loyal to your loved ones and stand up for what's right. La, lively, loving, and full of energy. Lay names are often found in people who bring joy and warmth to those around them. Methodical, responsible, and nurturing. If your name begins with M, you likely excel in both work and personal relationships. Naturally curious, adventurous, and free-thinking. N names are often attached to people who seek knowledge and exploration. O to Z, the innovators and rebels. Optimistic, open-minded, and unique. O names belong to people who see possibilities where others see limitations. Peaceful, philosophical, and deep thinkers. If your name starts with P, you likely reflect on life's big questions. Q, quirky, unconventional, and original. Q names belong to people who think outside the box and embrace their uniqueness. R, resilient, resourceful, and strong. If your name begins with R, you likely overcome obstacles with determination. Sensitive, smart, and intuitive. S names often belong to people who understand emotions and connect deeply with others. Tenacious, talented, and trustworthy. If your name starts with T, you are likely dependable and full of potential. unique, unpredictable, and visionary. Your names belong to people who walk their own path and inspire change. You're vibrant, versatile, and full of passion. If your name begins with V, you likely bring energy and excitement wherever you go. Macau, wise, witty, and warm-hearted. When names are often found in people with sharp minds and generous spirits. X factor, mysterious, and strong-willed. If your name starts with X, you stand out and leave a lasting impression. You're youthful, energetic, and positive. Your names belong to those who embrace life's joys and seek happiness. Zealous, ambitious, and independent. If your name starts with Z, you are likely a go-getter with a bold personality. Each letter carries a unique essence that may influence how you perceive yourself and how others see you. So, does your first letter match your personality? Let me know in the comments. The science and psychology behind name letters. Have you ever wondered why some names just feel powerful, gentle, or creative? The answer lies in psychology, sound symbolism, and even cultural associations. Studies suggest that the first letter of your name can subconsciously influence how people perceive you, and even how you see yourself. From the way certain sounds evoke emotions to the patterns hidden in human behavior, the psychology behind name initials is more fascinating than you might think. The power of sound and first impressions. The way a letter sounds plays a big role in shaping perception. This concept, known as sound symbolism, suggests that certain sounds evoke specific emotions and associations. For example, names starting with hard consonants, like K, T, or D, often come across as strong, decisive, and authoritative. On the other hand, softer sounds like M, L, or S can make a name feel warm, approachable, or even poetic. This is why many powerful leaders have names that start with bold letters, while creative individuals often have softer, flowing names. Psychological effects of your name's first letter. Your first initial doesn't just shape how others see you, it can also influence your own behavior. This is known as the name-letter effect, a psychological phenomenon where people are naturally drawn to things that start with the same letter as their name. Research has shown that people with names beginning with A or B are slightly more likely to excel in academics, possibly due to the association with getting high grades, A and B. Meanwhile, individuals whose names start with letters later in the alphabet may experience subconscious disadvantages in competitive settings. Cultural and historical influences on name perception. Beyond psychology, different cultures have their own interpretations of letters. In numerology, each letter has a corresponding number that represents personality traits and destiny. For example, the letter J is often linked to leadership, while H symbolizes balance and structure. Meanwhile, historical trends show that certain letters rise in popularity based on influential figures. Think of how many kids were named Elon after Elon Musk's rise, or Diana after Princess Diana. These cultural shifts prove that our perception of letters isn't just personal, it's shaped by the world around us. So, whether it's psychology, sound symbolism, or cultural influence, the first letter of your name holds more power than you might realize. Do you think your initial matches your personality? Let me know in the comments. How your first letter influences your strengths and weaknesses. Your name's first letter isn't just a random choice. It may subtly shape your strengths and weaknesses, whether through psychology, social perception, or even personal belief. The first letter of your name can influence how you approach challenges, build relationships, and navigate life. Let's break down how your initial might affect both your strong traits and the areas where you might struggle. Strengths, the power your letter gives you. Each letter carries an energy that can enhance certain strengths in your personality. For example, names starting with my, A, J, or K letters often belong to natural-born leaders, people who are confident, ambitious, and willing to take risks. Those with names beginning with C, S, or LL tend to be creative and emotionally intelligent, excelling in artistic or social fields. Letters like Amber, M, D, or T are linked to hardworking, reliable individuals who thrive in structured environments. If your name starts with a softer letter, like E, N, or F Mauer, you may have a natural gift for empathy, communication, and forming deep connections with others. Weaknesses. The challenges your letter may bring. Just as each letter has strengths, it can also indicate potential struggles. Bold letters like A, B, and R bows may make people overly competitive or impatient, always striving for success but sometimes struggling with balance. Those with H, M, or Viet names may take on too much responsibility, feeling the weight of expectations. Creative and sensitive letters like C, E, or S may lead to overthinking, self-doubt, or emotional sensitivity. Meanwhile, letters like Q, X, or Z, which are less common, can make individuals feel unique, but also misunderstood or isolated. How to use your letter's meaning to your advantage. Understanding the strengths and weaknesses tied to your first letter can help you make the most of your natural abilities. If you have a strong-willed letter, like J or D, channel that energy into leadership while being mindful of others' perspectives. If your name starts with a softer letter like L or F, embrace your emotional intelligence, but set boundaries to avoid being overwhelmed. By recognizing the patterns linked to your name's first letter, you can work on balancing your strengths while overcoming challenges. While your first letter doesn't define you completely, it can offer insights into how you interact with the world. Do you feel like your letter's strengths and weaknesses match your personality? Let me know in the comments. Famous people and their first letters, coincidence or pattern? Have you ever noticed that certain famous people share the same first letter in their names? From world leaders to celebrities, the initials of their names often reflect traits that align with their success. Is this just a coincidence, or does the first letter of a name actually play a role in shaping a person's destiny? Let's explore some interesting patterns among famous individuals and what their initials reveal about them. Bold leaders and powerful letters. Some of the most influential leaders in history have names starting with strong, authoritative letters. For example, Barack Obama, B, Donald Trump, D, and Winston Churchill, WW, all have initials associated with leadership, determination, and a commanding presence. The letter Amauer is also linked to ambition and independence. Just look at Abraham Lincoln, Alexander the Great, and Angela Merkel. These letters create a sense of authority, making the names feel powerful and influential. Creative geniuses and artistic letters. Artists, musicians, and entertainers often have names that begin with letters associated with creativity and expression. The letter in Arena Bigao is linked to deep emotions and artistic energy. Think of Beyoncé, Bob Marley, and Brad Pitt. The letter OL is often associated with charm and charisma, seen in Leonardo DiCaprio, Lady Gaga, and Ludwig van Beethoven. Meanwhile, S and Peibao are commonly found in performers who bring energy and uniqueness to their work, such as Shakira, Steven Spielberg, and Pablo Picasso. The mystery of rare and unique letters. Some of the most unique and unconventional figures in history have names that start with uncommon letters. The letter here, for example, is often associated with innovation and intelligence. Just look at Elon Musk, Albert Einstein, and Eminem. Marshall Mathers' real name starts with M, but his stage name emphasizes E. The letter Z, linked to boldness and rebellion, can be found in names like Zayn Malik, Zendaya, and Zinedine Zidane. These rare initials seem to add an extra layer of uniqueness, making these individuals stand out even more. While it's impossible to say that a name alone determines success, the patterns among famous figures are fascinating. Could the first letter of a name influence personality and destiny, or is it all just a coincidence? Let me know what you think in the comments. What your first letter says about your destiny. Can the first letter of your name shape your future? While it might seem like just a coincidence, many believe that the energy of your first initial can subtly influence the path you take in life. From personality traits that guide your choices to the way others perceive you, your name's first letter may have a bigger impact on your destiny than you think. Let's explore how your initial could be shaping your journey. The connection between names and life paths. Throughout history, people have linked names to fate. In numerology, each letter has a corresponding vibration that influences personality and life direction. For example, people whose names start with A, J, or S often take leadership roles, naturally drawn to positions of power and responsibility. Those with initials like C, L, or U may be more inclined toward artistic or humanitarian paths, as these letters are associated with creativity and emotional intelligence. Even without numerology, studies suggest that a name can shape a person's confidence, ambition, and social interactions, all of which impact life choices. How your initial affects opportunities and success. The first letter of your name can also influence how people perceive you, which in turn affects opportunities. Names starting with strong letters like D, M, or RR may give off an impression of reliability and authority, making it easier to gain trust in professional and personal settings. Meanwhile, names with softer initials like E, F, or N might make people seem more approachable and nurturing, drawing them toward careers in communication, counseling, or the arts. These subconscious associations can shape the kind of opportunities that come your way, influencing everything from job prospects to relationships. The psychological effect of your first letter on your choices. Your first initial doesn't just affect how others see you, it can also shape how you see yourself. This ties into the name-letter effect, a psychological phenomenon where people feel a subconscious preference for things related to their initials. Studies have found that people are more likely to live in cities, work in careers, or even marry people whose names share the same first letter. While this doesn't mean your name controls your fate, it does suggest that your initial can subtly influence your decisions in ways you might not even realize. Whether through psychology, numerology, or cultural perception, the first letter of your name plays a role in shaping your journey. While destiny is never fixed, understanding the hidden influence of your initial can give you insight into your strengths, opportunities, and potential challenges. Do you think your name's first letter has shaped your life? Share your thoughts in the comments. Surprising cultural and historical meanings of name letters. Did you know that the first letter of your name might have a deeper meaning in different cultures and historical traditions? Across the world, certain letters have been associated with power, luck, and even fate. From ancient numerology to modern psychology, your name's first initial could hold a hidden significance that connects you to a larger cultural or historical pattern. Let's dive into how different traditions interpret name letters. Ancient numerology and the power of letters. In numerology, each letter is linked to a number, which is believed to influence personality and destiny. For example, the letter A is associated with the number 1, symbolizing leadership and independence, while Bauer is linked to the number 2, representing harmony and partnership. In ancient civilizations like Egypt and Greece, names were often chosen based on their numerical and vibrational significance, ensuring that a child's first letter aligned with their family's values or destiny. Even today, many people believe that the first letter of a name can shape one's character and path in life. Cultural symbolism of name letters. Different cultures assign specific meanings to letters based on tradition and belief systems. In Chinese culture, for example, certain sounds and initials are considered more auspicious than others because they resemble words for prosperity or happiness. In Hindu traditions, the first letter of a child's name is often chosen based on astrology and the alignment of the stars at birth. Meanwhile, in Western cultures, letters like J, K, and R are often associated with strength and success, possibly due to the influence of famous figures with these initials. The influence of historical trends on name letters. History also plays a role in how we perceive certain initials. Letters like W and C gained prestige due to famous leaders such as Winston Churchill and Catherine the Great. Similarly, names beginning with M or L have been linked to artistic brilliance and wisdom thanks to figures like Michelangelo, Mozart, and Leonardo da Vinci. Over time, societal trends have made certain initials more desirable, shaping how names are chosen and how people with those initials are perceived. From ancient numerology to modern culture, the first letter of your name carries more meaning than you might think. Whether it's linked to luck, personality, or historical influence, your initial may be part of a much larger story. Do you think your name's first letter has a special significance? Let me know in the comments. Does your first letter truly define you? Myth versus reality. After exploring the hidden meanings behind the first letter of your name, one big question remains: how much of this is real and how much is just coincidence? While psychology, numerology, and cultural traditions suggest that initials can influence personality and perception, it's important to separate fact from fiction. Let's break down the myths and realities surrounding the power of name letters. The influence of psychology and social perception. Psychological studies, such as the e-name letter effect, prove that people are naturally drawn to things that share their initials. This can shape decisions from career choices to relationships in subtle ways. Additionally, social perception plays a role. If a name starts with a letter that sounds strong, like K or D, people might subconsciously expect confidence from that person.